Hey everyone, on today's episode of Pinche Al Stuff, we're going to teach you guys how to build a retro little console for literally under 100 bucks, and it's going to have 32 gigs of storage. It's going to be using a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. We got the Cana kit power plug and a 8BitDo controller. So we're going to show you guys how to program and get it all ready for you guys to load up all your games, install the OS, and make it work. So thanks for tuning in. So let's get to work. First thing we're going to get is a micro SD card. I use the Samsung Evo Selects because they're super cheap. They're about $7 for a 32 gig card. So with one of these, we're going to need to format it and pretty much use some special software to start the entire procedure. So let's get to work. Let me show you what.
So now that we've got our Raspberry Pi, we got our memory card. I forgot to mention you're going to need a Cat 6 cable. Obviously, you have the power cord to make sure your Raspberry Pi turns on. With all that, the next step is the stuff that you need to hunt for. Now, I'm going to give you the quick links on what you're going to need to make your Raspberry Pi turn into a retro arcade. But I cannot give you the links to get all your ROMs. Unfortunately, that's like super illegal right now. So I will show you what I'm doing, but I cannot show you guys how to find it, unfortunately. So first piece of software you're going to need is the actual RetroArch. You literally just go to retroarch.com. The link is right here in the upper left hand corner. Then you go to click on the button right here, try RetroArch. Now it's going to give you a couple options on how you want to do it. Make sure we download the stable option. Okay. Now this is for Windows 30. Windows. We're not going to be doing it for Windows though. We're going to be doing it for Android, for the Raspberry Pi. So if you guys are going to be using it for a PC, by all means go for it here. But since we're going to be using an actual Raspberry Pi, you're going to download the lock. That's what it's called. Same technology, just for the Raspberry Pi. Now we're going to use Windows to actually do this process, so we're going to click on the Windows function. Make sure the Raspberry Pi we're going to be doing is called the Pi 3. We're actually doing the Pi 3B Plus, which actually has a little bit more power to it and more memory and more processing power to begin with. So that's the one we're going to be using. It's going to ask you to download the actual software for the actual Raspberry Pi, which is here. You don't have I already downloaded it, but just click on that, and then it's going to get you the next step. The next step is an etcher, and again, what's really cool about this website, it walks you through the entire process on how to download everything. Which really cool, keep the etcher. The etcher is super good software because you're going to need it if you're going to decide to do more Raspberry Pis with different operating systems. This is actually how you load your operating system with this specific etcher. There's other ones out there, but this is the one I use personally. So I already have it downloaded, so just click on this. It gives you the link, and it tells you the Balena etcher is what you're going to download. Click on the link here, follow the prompts. I'm going back, and the next step here is pretty much following your prompts all the way through and how to do this. It's going to show you beginning to end. This is a step-by-step in text format, but we're going to show you what to do. So the next step is to minimize your window here. We installed the Balena etcher already, so we're going to open this up. And you'll see it's going to ask us to select the image. Once you download the lock Raspberry Pi software, or ISO, which is right here, we're going to have it here. It's a very small file, 356 megabytes, very, very small. We're going to click on select the image, and since it's on the desktop, here it is right here. We're going to hit open, and now it's going to request which source we're going to put it onto. So right now we have the 32 32 gig SD card right here already clicked on. So we're going to click on that, hit continue, and flash. Yes, you can hit continue. So what's going to happen, it's going to etch, or AKA just format the micro SD card, partition it accordingly. So it has the OS correctly and partitioned, so you can move your games and ROMs over to the storage option. Here you go. So once that's done, you're going to get this little percentage going through it, and it's going to show you what to do from there. It's super easy. You're going to get some prompts in just a second where Windows is going to be like, oh, what's going on here? It's going to have some new partitions on this micro SD card. Don't freak out. Let it do its thing and just close them. Do not, see, you'll see right there, it already created the new partition. Ignore the prompts that you're getting that are popping up. Let the etching software do its job, and then you'll see what to do next. It's almost done. You'll see the second partition's already been created. It's unmounting the SD card. And we're done. So, failed device here. Interesting. We'll see if it's correct, but it says it complete, but I don't know why it failed. More than likely it failed, probably something about unmounting. So we're going to close out of that. And you'll see here that the the SD card is no longer here, so we're good. That means it's been created. We're going to pull that out, and then we're going to show you guys on the other camera what to do next. Alright, so here's my Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. I got my 32 gig memory card, an HDMI cable, and a power cord. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert the micro SD card, which is underneath the actual Pi, the little slot right here, and then the HDMI cable. Then we're going to grab the power source right here and make sure we have a TV going right here. So we got one up here on top. I'll show you guys this. So we're going to plug this in, and then you should see right here the OS. There's the Pi right there. It's telling you right now not to reboot or turn off your console. It's actually doing the actual building of the OS. So you gotta let it do its thing for a couple seconds. It might take a couple minutes. It's give or take on it. While this is going, the next step, while this is doing these things, get your controller ready. If you don't have a controller, definitely you can use a corded Xbox One or Xbox 360 controller. You can use anything. I even used the Nintendo Switch corded controller. That works perfectly fine with it. Again, I use the 8-bit DOE is what we call them, controllers here. And there's the OS up and going. Super quick process. What you're going to do is get your controller here. You're going to plug it in. Now, remember, we need the Cat5 cable or Cat6 cable. It's going to need an Ethernet connection. Without Ethernet, you're not going to be able to transfer your games quickly or efficiently. I've noticed that with the Cat6 cable, it's an easier process than trying to copy them over via a computer transfer. I've noticed it just works better this way. I don't know why. It just does. It's really weird. So we're back up here. We're gonna make sure that the network functions are gonna work. So let's see here. Services, make sure that you can access the command line. All these have to be turned on, okay? Let's see here. Wi-Fi, it'll try to look for a Wi-Fi network. It might not work. Again, if it doesn't work, it's going to reboot. It's going to do what we call like a quick reboot on it. And see, it detects the controller. It uses Xbox controller functions. So let's see here. Now what we need is the network information. So there we go. So our RetroArch has an IP address of 192.168.1.97. This is very important because this IP address is what you need to access the storage on the RetroPie, so you can transfer your games over. So we're going to show you what to do next from there. This is right here. Pretty much you leave it alone from here. This is what I wanted to show you guys. This is super vital. Making sure you guys see that there's a network or an IP address attached to your Raspberry Pi. So next we're going to show you on the computer and what to do next and how to transfer everything over. Alright, so now that when you got your Raspberry Pi on the network, or your actual console now with Laka on it, or aka RetroArch, You're going to make sure, number one, that the unit is connected to your network via Wi-Fi or hardwire, okay? If you want your transfer to go by very quickly and smoothly, make sure it's hardwired. So what you're going to see is on your network, you'll see a bunch of these devices. If it does not show up here under LAKKA, we're going to show you guys how to get to it via its manual command. So you're going to do Windows R, and you're going to run the script on the bottom. And once you see that, what you're going to do is backslash LAKKA backslash, and it's going to give you pretty much the list of all the folders available inside your Raspberry Pi with Laka OS on it. And then you're just going to arrow down to ROMs, and then you're going to see the folder with all your ROMs. Now, I just started transferring them over already because it's a very slow process. So once you see them all here, if you actually click on your folder where all your games are stored, all you're going to do is drag and drop inside the ROMs folder. Now, what you want to do, just so you make stuff very safe and organized, obviously make a folder per console. This will, number one, let you find the ROMs quickly when you need to go add them to your device to search for them, which we're going to show you how to do that next. So once you have them all done, we'll show you, once all your games are loaded up and done, we'll show you what to do next. The next part is very time consuming, so we're going to show you in sections. So now that you finally finished all transferring your games over, we're going to go into your files here, and then you're going to go all the way to the right where the plus symbol's at. You're going to click on Scan Directory, and then you're going to go and you're going to select which directory you want to scan. Since we already did Super Nintendo, we're going to do Sega Genesis, and then it's going to give you parent directory and then scan this directory. So we just want to click on that, and then you'll notice there's a progress bar on the left hand side, and it tells you how many games are there and how many games it's actually scanned, and it's processing it through. You're going to repeat this process over and over per folder. If you want to do the entire directory, you can do that. At the very top, you're going to click on Scan This Directory, and it's going to do everything inside there. I like to do one folder at a time, that way I know for a fact everything went through. But it's not required for you guys. So we already got Sega and Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Now we got a Nintendo, N64, MAME, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy. All these consoles right here to transfer over and get them all up and running. Besides that, after that, you're just pretty much going to pick out a game. And when you pick a game, you'll see right here, you'll see a couple games. All your games are here on the left, and then your box art on the right. You can change the layout depending on how you want to do it. That's all up to you guys. But when you do click on a game, you have to set your cores. So if you see here, set core association, if you have to go here and make sure you set to the one I like to use the most is Nintendo, SNES, SNES 9 times current. And then there's other ones that are older, but the current one is the best option. So what they'll do is set the which software to run, emulation to run your game for your emulation. So there is an option under where is it? I believe load cores. So it'll tell you which cores you want to use for pretty much by default. There's a ton. You can go through them over and over. It's a pain. So I like to just go here and just do it one at a time. And it will work. But what I recommend, don't play a game while it's loading or scanning the other games. Just wait until that's done and then load your game and then run a test. The downside of this is since it is emulation,
Emulation isn't guaranteed to work with every single core, so it is going to be a trial and error scenario. So again, have fun. Get some of the games you want to play the most. Load them up onto your Laka, and have fun and enjoy your retro Pi, because it's fun. And I love playing classic games, especially games that you can't get anymore. This is the only way around it. I wish I can give you guys the links to where you can download these games, but I can't, unfortunately. So other than that, enjoy and have some fun, and happy pieing. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for tuning in at Pinche Al Stuff.